Hi, everyone. Welcome to AppStack. Today's June 6th, 2018, and we're super excited for another webinar where we are going to be showing not one, not five, not 10, like even more apps, all in 30 minutes. So it's a jam-packed webinar. So what is all AppStack? What is this all about? Well, it all started because our team at AppExchange really found that customers wanted to know about the apps other customers are using. What does your org look like? And you have 3 apps, 5 apps, 20 apps, and how are you using them? So we built a simple tool called AllInStack. You can check it out at allinstack.com, and you could build your own app stack. People started doing this, and we said, hey, wouldn't it be neat to do a webinar to actually have customers talk live about their app stack and really explain it? And so that's how this webinar was born. Now, if you've registered today, you can come back every first Wednesday of the month and check it out. Also, you can follow along with hashtag #AppyAdmin because today is AppStack Day. And yes, that's what it is. And that means that today we've had 2 webinars. There's one earlier today with the admin team. This one is the AppStack webinar. And if you go to allinstack.com, build your AppStack, tweet it out with hashtag #AppyAdmin and hashtag sweeps, you have a chance to win an Appy bobblehead. So we have just put the link in the chat. So definitely take a listen, but also start building those stacks so you can enter to win. My name is Amanda Nelson. I am a Director of Community Marketing here at AppExchange. And joining me today is our host, Jeff Grosse, Salesforce MVP. Hello, Jeff. How are you?
Hey, Amanda. I'm doing fantastic today. I may not be Geraldine Gray, but I am a good friend of hers, and it's an honor to be a part of it today.
Yes, that's right. We sometimes typically have Geraldine Gray hosting, but it's so nice to have you in here. I mean, you and I have done so much together, so I'm super excited to work on this project with you.
Exactly. So just another one of these AppExchange webinars where we get to go into even more about the apps. And so I'm excited to be here. So let's kick it off.
Take it away.
So, all right. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm just going to quick highlight an app from the app stack out there. It's called Cloudingo. And what's really interesting about this, you think about it, applications are nothing without data. Like if you just have an application and nothing in it, what good does that do you? Well, data, it kind of ages like fish. It's not like wine. Data sits there, gets stale. It's oftentimes, if you look in your org today, I bet you've got some duplicate data. What Cloudingo does is it helps you to deduplicate that both on entry data that's in Salesforce, deduplicating it based on some really complex logic in there. But the great part is this stuff can not only do it for manual entry when people are putting in new records in Salesforce, you can do it on mass import. You can even integrate this to your master data management suites like ERP and ensure that the data that's going into Salesforce is not only complete, but it's deduplicated and quality, and it's being checked quite often. So this is really good stuff. It is really good for merging and converting your data. Definitely recommend going out there and checking it out. There's a really cost-effective way to get into this application, and your data will be much better, and your other people at your company will thank you for it. So go and check out Cloudingo. So our first stack today, we've got Charlie with us today. Well, actually, we got 2 people in total. Let me just tell you quick about Carlos and Charlie. They are with us today to tell us about their app stack, and we're going to be talking about what apps they put together and why they put them together. So we're going to quick run into a little intro here. Charlie, would you please tell us a little bit about yourself? I mean, I saw a little bit about you there, that you are one of the very highly certified people out there in Salesforce land. You've got, I believe it's 16 certifications, which means you really love proctored exams. And tell us a little bit about what you do as a technical architect.
Hi, Jeff. Yes, thank you very much for having me on AppStack today. I do have 16 certifications. I have this crazy goal to get all of them by the end of the year. So fingers crossed, we'll see what I can do.
Wow.
I'm about to go do my CTA review board in August. It'll be my 2nd attempt, but this time I'm going to be ready. And I am one of the co-leaders of the Ladies Be Architect global study group or user group, and I'm very proud to be part of it. And we're a community that helps everybody on their journey to become CTAs. So that's me. On a day-to-day basis, I help customers and clients build their Salesforce orgs, and I have my own little app stack that I always take with me, which I believe that really helps architects and project teams that work on Salesforce to manage their work effectively.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I was looking at the stack that you created. So let's actually go to that next slide and we'll talk about it. These are around IT and administration apps, and most of them are ones I'm pretty familiar with, but I want to find out a little bit more. So let's actually just kind of dig into these a little deeper. Agile Accelerator, this is one that I see a lot of folks getting into, and from a project management perspective, a lot of folks who've never done Agile development before, this is a great jump into that Agile stack, or basically being able to do Agile development as compared to all waterfall. And tell me a little bit about how you've used Agile Accelerator and where you've seen it benefit your customers.
Yeah, absolutely. Agile Accelerator, as you say, is a replacement for typical Agile software like Jira or version 1, which can be very complex, and you have to manage that as a software during a project. Now, Agile Accelerator is built by Salesforce Labs. It is built completely on the Force.com platform, and it's free. It manages everything from your epics, your sprints, the user stories, the bugs, the burn down, everything in one central place in Salesforce, so the users are used to the interface, they're used to using it, and it gives you the granular ability for the guys that are building the user stories and the product managers, people developing the features, to use Chatter and Notes and all the tools we love in Salesforce to manage this sprint by sprint functionality. You can even customize it if you want to be a bit more waterfall, so maybe an agile hybrid approach. So you can customize it too, because it's not a managed package, to suit the way you work.
And it's fantastic, and that way people can use it the way that they want to, and whether it's creating user stories, getting all those epics together, deciding what the actual, how you're going to lay out those sprints, that's a great way of jumping into it. And by being a Salesforce Labs app, like you say, it's free, it's customizable, anybody can install it, and you can be up and running very quickly. So that's an awesome one to have out there. And I'd encourage everybody who's listening out there, if you don't have a cloud-based project management software that is built right into Salesforce, you really should go out and check it out and try it, because I've seen so many customers use it, and I'm sure both of us are in the consulting realm, Charlie, and I think you probably recommended this a lot of times, and I can see why it's in the stack. I'm curious about Chatter RSS. That's one that I'm not familiar with. I see the Labs logo on there. So tell me a little bit more about what that does and why you recommend it.
So when you work in a Salesforce org, especially when you're on a project team, you have a lot of chatter going on about your user stories, about your deployments. The developers are talking and asking questions about functionality. The architects are clarifying. And it's difficult to keep up, even with the Chatter digests. So you could use Chatter RSS feed to subscribe to different streams. You can subscribe to normal website RSS feeds, but you can also subscribe to different Chatter groups, and then see it all in Chatter, where on your home feed, either as consolidated posts or as single posts. So it's dual function. It helps us on the project side to keep track of what everybody is talking about when we use Chatter, but it also helps us to pull other website RSS feeds. So we would subscribe to Salesforce's RSS feed, and we could see those messages come in as Chatter posts.
Interesting. I'm going to have to go check that one out. I've not heard of that one before, so I'm glad that you put it in there. Capado, that is a massive, yet at the same time so important app out there when it comes to web deployments and managing your code architecture. Tell me a little bit about that. I mean, I from what I know about it already, I can see why it's in the stack, but why don't you tell our audience why you recommend it?
Absolutely. Capado is the best thing since sliced bread, and I'm not being paid to say this. It is, as you all know, I'm very much all about Salesforce. I don't like third-party apps too much, and Capado is completely 100% web and cloud-based, and it is built on Force.com, including Heroku, which is part of our Force.com family. You install Capado in your project management org, and you use powerful features like the environment management. You can create a record for each one of the orgs in your deployment or your release cycle, so you can see your whole swim lane. You can push code from one org to another with a button inside of Salesforce using Capado. You can connect to them using OAuth. You can run your test scripts automatically without having a tool like Jenkins. You can even compare metadata inside your orgs right from Capado, something that used to be very difficult to do when you use an IDE like Eclipse or any of the other tools we usually use. So it's got a long list of functionality, but to me, it makes my life of managing my environment, managing my deployment flow, my release management, my tests execution, and just tracking what user story is linked to which piece of code in my Git repo, all under one roof inside of Salesforce.
That is absolutely useful, and I remember working with some of my customers in the past who talked about, you know, how do we really manage our orgs and how do we push code between them? And really, Salesforce has enabled this technology to go so far now by what they've opened up within the APIs, and then what AppExchange partners like Capado have done is fantastic, and it's much better than it was probably when you and I both started using Salesforce many a year ago, right, Charlie?
Absolutely. And now with DX that's been launched, Capado even works with DX. So in the old days, if you remember, we had, even before change sets, deployments were really hard work, and you didn't know what you had to deploy, and it took hours, if not days. Now everything is streamlined, and I'm very excited about the work Capado is doing with DX and what they're going to release in their pipeline. Everybody just quickly imagine the safe harbor slide, because that's what I'm talking about. So we'll just we'll wait for Capado, but it's very exciting, and it's really, really a crucial part of my app stack when I start working on a project.
Awesome. Yeah, I can see why it would be recommended every place you go. Well, then the last one that you've got on here is one that I have been a big fan of for quite a while. Samanage, it is all about IT service management. Tell us a little bit more about why you recommend them as well. I mean, I really like how they utilize the Service Cloud and all the native Salesforce pieces to do very complex workflows, but tell us more about why you recommend it.
So from an architect point of view, when I'm planning my deployments and when I'm figuring out what needs to happen throughout my project lifecycle, something that's important is to think about my release dates. And I have to get the right approvals on my release dates. I need to have a set process for those release dates. So I would have a development manager who wants to schedule a release. I use Samanage. Create that ticket. Samanage allows a preset process that I can configure up front, that ticket will go through. It'll make sure it gets to the right people. It's using the ITIL-based standards, so I know that my ticket management, my catalog, all the tools that I need to manage a service desk, but now from a project management or deployment point of view, I can do everything in Samanage. Yes, so the most important thing for me is usually to get my release date approvals, to log tickets, to get sign-off on my production go live, everything. I can manage all of that in Service Cloud using Samanage.
And I see how all four of these work together, so it really makes a lot of sense that you put them in a stack. I really appreciate you sharing this with us today, Charlie. It's awesome.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, you're very welcome. I'm happy to talk about these apps for hours.
I'm sure you would, and so we'll definitely want to catch up with you at Dreamforce or Next DX or wherever we can find you next. So really appreciate you being here today, and thanks for sharing.
Sure. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, so we've got another app in a minute right here. Next up, I've got Asset Optics. This is all about facilities, equipment, and fleet management. This is an application that's native to Salesforce that has, man, if you think about all kinds of businesses out there that need to maintain their facilities, their equipment, and the fleets of vehicles that they have out there, there's no way that those things take care of themselves. They need constant maintenance. They need to be watched for, whether it's the usage of it, and after a certain number of hours, they need to be maintained. You can manage all that stuff inside of Salesforce. And you think about asset-intense industries where if those assets are not up and running, you're not making any revenue. So whether that's services, whether that's installation, whether that's maintaining everything within a building, these guys can take care of it. And so using complicated I would say complicated in the sense of being able to take care of complicated business processes, but using workflows inside of there to ensure that you're taking care of all of those assets. This is a really good application for that. So I'd encourage you to go and check it out. It's all about managing work orders, getting inventory out into the vehicles and places that you need it to be. It's all about maintaining the preventative maintenance schedules. It works on Salesforce Mobile. And think about this, reports and dashboards are a huge part of knowing that all of your equipment is up and running, has been properly maintained, and will last the longest possible time based on taking good care of it. So go out and check out Asset Optics. Great partner to have in the AppExchange. All right, it's time for AppStack number 2. Carlos Sequeira. Carlos, I got you with me today. I want to hear a little bit more about your role, what you do. Uh-oh, we lost your picture. Well, we saw him. Oh, there he is. You're going to see him on the next page. Somehow he disappeared from this slide. But Carlos, you are a Salesforce admin, a consultant, an MVP, things. But tell us a little bit more about your role, how long you've been using Salesforce, and kind of how the AppExchange and the AppStack is kind of changing your life and the customers you work with.
Thanks, Jeff. Yes, my name is Carlos Sequeira. I'm a Salesforce MVP out of Tampa, Florida. I've been on the ecosystem, believe it or not, it's going to be 2 years now. But prior to that, I had over 25 years on the mainframe world. So being on the Salesforce ecosystem has been really like a good journey. And as a consultant, you always face when you talk to several clients, you always have a different what if we don't have this out of the box. So right now I work as a consultant doing support for Price Waterhouse. We have 25,000 users worldwide, 100% Lightning. And the apps that I'm going to talk about, we don't necessarily use at PwC, but I have recommended them to other clients before. Okay, so that's my experience with them.
I was going to say that's kind of your safe harbor, but boy, I did not realize that you've only been working with Salesforce for 2 years and coming out of 25 years of mainframe. Boy, I'm glad to have you in our camp now, because I can imagine that escaping the world of mainframe and getting to cloud, your eyes were opened quite a bit with what the capabilities were. Well, mainframes have been solid out there. Man, it's a new world, and think about what you can do through that. And so when I look at this stack that you created, let's go to the next slide here, and we'll see your stack, and we're going to talk about basically around analytics. And this has a lot to do with making sure that your customers are properly adopting Salesforce and the capabilities that are out there. So we've got some, let's just jump to the next slide here. I think we got a picture of each of these 3 out there. Let's talk about Trailhead Tracker and how you recommend that, why that's useful, and yeah, let's hear about it.
Okay, nowadays, I mean, Trailhead is pretty much making a change in the way that we learn things. I mean, it's a game changer, right? I mean, you cannot deny it. Trailhead is in there, it's for free, and you can do that at your own pace. You can do it for admin track, you can do for a developer track, you can do for a CTA track. So one of the things that I appreciate about the app is the fact that you can track, like you say, well, how many, if I'm an admin and I wanted to learn more things, I don't have the time or the money to go for training. Guess what? You can do it to Trailhead. So what the beauty of the app is that you can pretty much keep track once you register, once you apply in there. It takes your username that you use in your Trailhead account and pretty much lets you see your progress. how's that affect a company? Well, it's a free training right there. Okay. The next thing that I think is really great about it is like nowadays we planning to come with my trailhead. That's is in the works. I think it's going to be released sometime this year. The pricing already be discussed. So if you have an onboarding, somebody's new to your company or somebody new on your Salesforce ecosystem, it can be a new admin, it can be a new developer, it can be a new business analyst. So you can pretty much go in there and create your trail mix pretty much based on the needs that you have. So the app, what the app allows you is to keep track of, if you have your trail mix has like, let's say 10 badges, the app would allow you to see how many you have done, how many you need to go until you finish, the average time that you have spent in there, and so forth. So I think that is a very good tool for anybody that ever wanted to learn Salesforce.
Yeah, I think about that. You think about all the different personas whom, all three of us here being consultants. Whenever we go in with a customer and they're wanting to learn the platform, they've not come from Salesforce before, this is a great way of prescribing to certain individuals, hey, these are the modules that you should take because you're going to need to maintain this after our project is, through its first phase. And being able to track that and prescribe that out to people, that's fantastic. And I can see why. I mean, it's great that Salesforce put that out there. I mean, even for ourselves as partners, we manage our, who within our organization is taking all the trailhead badges and who ranks highest and all that kind of thing. So it's fantastic to be out there. I like that. Tell me a little bit about the Lightning Adoption Tracker. I mean, obviously, Lightning adoption and transition from Classic is hugely important. Tell me a little bit more about the Lightning Adoption Tracker and why you recommend that.
Okay, can you jump to the next slide?
Yeah, Amanda, can you grab the next slide there? There we go. Thank you.
Okay, well,
next one.
The next one, yeah.
One more.
Oh yeah, this is one that I would just talk about it about. Okay, so now the next one. Okay, this is not the Lightning.
Yeah, I think we got it.
Yeah, that's fine. This is okay. Lightning adoption.
Wait, which one do you want? Okay.
Can you do the previous one? Because
okay, we'll go
the previous one. Okay.
Yeah,
that one.
Salesforce adoption.
Okay,
yeah,
there we go.
One.
8 minutes.
Yeah, this
go.
one. Okay, no. Okay. The reason that I like this one is specifically when you are new to Salesforce. Okay, so now we talk about learning Salesforce, right? The trailhead and stuff. Well, this one here is pretty much important when you're trying to increase not just awareness of Salesforce, but user adoption as well. So this app pretty much let management knows who are the people that are effective using Salesforce or not. So how often people log in, what kind of things they are doing there, if they're looking to reports or dashboards and stuff like that. Okay, so that's one of the reasons that I recommend, because as I said, as a consultant, every client is different, and most of the times you're gonna get in there and you have to convince people. They say, hey, this is the beauty of Salesforce, and well, why I have to use Salesforce when I can use Excel? So then you go in there and you show them the beauty of the product, and you pretty much use the app to keep track of who's using Salesforce or not.
Yep, absolutely. This app has been around for a while and it's been recommended millions of times probably. So fantastic. Well, let's jump into the Lightning adoption one now.
Okay, so that's chronologically speaking, that will be the last one. So why? We have Trailhead, you learn the Trailhead. So now your customers are using Salesforce for a while. But then guess what? Now there's this new thing about Lightning. Why should I go to Lightning? Because you're gonna save, your process, your ability to use Salesforce is gonna be exponentially faster because you have the way that the design is much better. So when you have this app here, you pretty much keep tabs of who are from all your users. You have everybody using Salesforce, fine. But now you can keep tracks of who's keep using in Classic or back and forth in Classic or not. Okay, so you can pretty much see how much activity you have in there and what exactly people are using in order to pretty much, to see how good or bad is the adoptions of Lightning. And based on that, you as a manager, you can tackle those people and say pretty much, hey, why aren't you using Lightning? And sit down with them and see what exactly is that prevents you to use Lightning. And it's a matter of showing them, hey, you don't know how to do this in Lightning. Guess what? I can show you a trailhead badge here. It will tell you exactly how to do things in Lightning. So I believe this. I believe nowadays this is a very important one to any company, to have it.
Yeah.
Especially if they transition.
They always say you can't improve what you don't measure. So yeah, definitely having this out there and being able to understand which areas of which departments, which individual users are not utilizing Lightning to the fullest. Absolutely, we got to get down and sit down with folks and find out why. So awesome. I really appreciate it, Carlos. Thanks for sharing your app stack with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to do a quick little thing here on Ring Central. If you think about being able to maintain, we all have to talk with our customers, and this is all about getting that communication directly inside of Salesforce. If you think about inbound and outbound calls integrated directly into Salesforce, and having a mobile workforce is not tied down to an office. This allows you to be anywhere, to serve your customers, to work inside of Salesforce and take phone calls and log them properly, get automatic call logging, real-time analytics, even get global reach. The Ring Central worldwide network allows it to work in 150 countries, which is a pretty good percentage of the world, allows you to be able to maintain making and receiving calls out there. It's directly integrated to the consoles. It works as a soft phone. You've got click to call all over the place in it. Really just makes it a much more usable, we have to communicate with customers, and email is one piece of it, which you can do directly in Salesforce, but this really enables all of that calling communication to be logged properly. So I want to encourage you to go and check out Ring Central and what they can do. So Amanda, as we're getting ready to close it out, I mean, it's almost like the demo jam where we're on a tight schedule here, but Carlos Stack's with us today. It was my first time on this webinar, and I would really want to say thank you and appreciate what you guys have brought up. You got great app stacks that are out there for specific use cases. Amanda, what else have you got out there today to tell us about the next app stack webinars coming up?
Yeah, thank you so much for joining today, to our customers and our attendees as well. And of course, Jeff, thank you for being our awesome host. I hope you had as much fun doing it as we did listening to it. You can build your app stack at allonthestack.com and tweet it out. And if you want to be a future speaker on our webinar, all you have to do is share it out, and that is an opportunity for you. So super exciting. Our next one is August 8th. We are taking July 4th off since that falls on the first Wednesday of the month. We are also taking September off for Dreamforce. So we will be back with you October 10th and then November as well. So check out August 8th app stack, and all you have to do is, join. You've already registered, so you're all set. So thank you so much for attending today. We appreciate it, and we hope to see your app stacks on Twitter soon. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye.
Bye, everyone.